All right, welcome to technical session number 45. We're going to be talking about data destruction and disposal methods. Kind of a fun one. We're going to be explaining the purpose of disposing data. Why would we do this? When is it appropriate? You know, are there any legal ramifications we need to be aware of? Compare, contrast different methods of disposing between formatting, sanitation, and destruction. And describe common ways to physically destroy data on hard drives. All right. Let's see here. Joyce, can you read for us, please?
Why and when to dispose of data. As faster and more reliable hard drives come out in the market, old hard drives tend to be replaced and thrown away. In other scenarios, desktop computers or laptops get replaced for new ones, and the old PCs are given away to other people or sent to the trash. On all these scenarios, it is important to delete data from the hard drives, and an appropriate data destruction disposable plan should be in place to avoid any potential leak of data. Getting rid of data from magnetic drives is not an easy task. When something is deleted in Windows, even after emptying the recycle bin, data remains in the storage device until new data overwrites it or replaces it.
Thank you. So, we do need to take a lot of this into account. Obviously, when you're starting a business, you're not going to utilize whatever equipment you buy till the end of time. New stuff will replace it. Faster things come out. You need to stay efficient. What do we do with the old stuff? So this is the big thing. So and a lot of this is going to depend upon the level of trust in who you're handing the systems off to. So there is a component to that. And that may be different for an organization than for, an individual user. Like if I'm giving an old computer of mine to my mother, I'm going to have different methods for data disposal than if I'm giving it to like an organization to reuse. So level of trust plays a part in this. And, we're going to talk about different things depending on who you're giving this data to or what your legal requirements may be, how you would handle these certain situations. All right. So there's three main methods to dispose of data. You have the first one, which is formatting. And as we learned before, formatting doesn't necessarily erase the data, correct? It just erases the map that puts that data together. So data forensics and stuff like that, this data can be reconstructed. It is not gone until it has been overwritten. And even then, sometimes it can be recovered. So formatting is one type, and there's a new type of formatting we'll talk about. Before we learned about quick formatting versus standard formatting, where one just erases the table, the other one checks for errors and erases the table. We have a new one we're going to be going over. Then there is sanitation, which is a way of wiping the data off the drive. What do you mean by zeroing? Can you explain that to me?
Well, zeroing is when you just sit there and write a bunch of zeros, or
it's like random ones or zeros over and over again on the drive.
Yeah, you can do multiple passes. Or
yes, that is a form of sanitation. Yes. Then you have physical destruction, which renders the drive unusable by any means in the future. And the various types we'll talk about are the industrial shredder. Yes, they do have shredders for hard drives. They are really big, beefy shredders, and you put them in and it basically does to a hard drive what a normal shredder does to paper. Electromagnetic or degaussing, drill and hammer method, which is the office space method, and then incineration are the other ones. And then we'll also talk a little bit about a certificate of destruction. All right. So formatting. So we have the other two types we talked about, which was the quick and the standard. Those both fall under the standard formatting. So this is basically, it erases that the file allocation table so that the system knows how to put stuff together. But it doesn't guarantee the stuff is gone. The stuff on it is usually pretty, not too hard to recover. This would be something you would do when you have a high level of trust of who you're handing that system off to. So like if I'm handing that off to my mother, I would probably just do a standard format, and then hand it off to her, and then she would use it, because the assumption is she does not mean me any imminent harm, and she's not trying to steal my data. Maybe if I make a couple $1 million, that might change. I don't know. We'll see. So, but currently, my assumption is she's not trying to steal my data. So then we have what is called low level formatting. This doesn't mean like it's very light formatting, it's just casual. No, this means it's going very deep into the drive. Low level formatting, this is typically done at factories. There are some specialized software that you can use to actually do this with, like USB drives and stuff like that. Magnetic hard drives, again, typically done at the factory. And this basically takes it back to the way it is when it comes out of the manufacturer. That is true, Oscar. Let's start keeping an eye on her. All right. So next, that's pretty straightforward. We already talked about what formatting does. You have your standard formatting, and then you have low level. Low level is manufacturer level. Standard is what we would normally do, and you would only do this if you have a high level trust of who those drives are going to. All right, next we have sanitation. And this is basically like what Oscar was just describing. What it does is it repeatedly overwrites the data on the drive so that it is not recoverable. So it writes over the whole drive with zeros, then passes again with ones, and passes again with zeros. And it keeps doing this, however many passes you let it go. I think like FBI forensics can recover anything less than 8 passes. Many of these will go much higher than that. Some of them can do like 30 something passes, depending on your level of paranoia. I usually set mine at 1,000. But it basically just means you're rewriting over the information over and over and over again so that it is unrecoverable or unusable. An example that they like to use on this is DBAN, which is it Dark's Boot and Nuke. It came on basically a red USB stick that you would plug in, or a CD. I remember guys back in the days before they actually would commercially sell these had versions of this that they would, keep in like with their CDs, but they would duct tape them closed essentially so nobody would accidentally put it in their system, and have like a note on it, don't ever use, but if they ever needed to nuke their hard drive, that's what they would put in and run. But this erases the drives completely. What does it mean by not OS dependent? So it can be done if you have Linux on there. It can be done if you have Windows on there. You can be done if you have, Mac OS on there. It's not dependent upon the OS. What it's doing is it's booting up before the operating system, and it's wiping out everything. Like once you're done, you literally have to add an operating system back on. So you're kind of starting over. So you would run this sanitation on it, format the drives, and then reapply a operating system on top of it. So you would basically go into BIOS at that point. All right, we clear on sanitation and formatting. Any questions?
I have one.
Yes, Melody.
For formatting, when you say low level, that's like bringing it back kind of quote unquote to its factory settings, the drive?
It's basically like it came right off the factory floor.
Okay.
So low level, and the way it always got me was like when you say like low level format, like in my mind initially I'm sitting there like, oh, it's just like a quick format where they just do it really fast and you're good to go. No, It literally means they're going deep into the drive. They're pushing it down to the lowest levels of the drive, taking it all the way back to your factory settings, like all the way back, like not just the quick reset you would do on your phone. No, this takes time, and it's quite literally like it just came off factory floor.
Okay, and does this work only for hard drives, like mechanical drives, or for all like SSDs?
They do have versions of this for SSDs and stuff like that. But for the mechanical drives, it's a little bit more of an involved process. And to my knowledge, I could be wrong in this, but to my knowledge, it requires special equipment. For SSDs, you can have some specialty software and do it yourself. One of the guys that was in my cohort used to do it to USB drives. Whenever he would get a new USB drive, he would always do a low-level format on it first, just to be safe before he would start putting any of his stuff on it. So he was a little bit more security minded than I am.
Okay.
But good question. All right, most of the destruction and disposal methods that they talk about this does revolve around mechanical drives. All right, another form of sanitation, we have the drive wipe. So if you want to make sure that it's basically completely clean or what have you, there are some specialized utilities. I think bleach bit was one of them, something like that. And it's basically a type of hardware that is supposed to, you know, get rid of everything and make sure that there is no possible way to recover it. So this would be a method you would employ to, you know, get everything off of there. But the only way to be sure is actual physical destruction. So this works, let's say 99.9% of the time, but depending on the sensitivity and value of the information that you're getting rid of, this may not qualify or be good enough. All right. So, oh, here we go. Fill in the blank. Hide. There we go. I'll just keep clicking buttons until I get it right. So you have D-band for overwrite, you have bleach bit for drive wipe. If you cannot verify beyond a reasonable doubt, or if there are specific regulations with regards to your company, then, you know, with data security, physical destruction is your only option after that.
Can you put the link in the chat again, please?
I guess. While you're doing this, I'm gonna grab a drink really fast. here's the awesome thing. If we get done by 11, I have another activity for y'all this morning. And it doesn't involve laundry.
Yeah,
Maybe
you're stuck on
waffles.
the,
Maybe
yeah,
waffles.
exactly. I was gonna say you're stuck on the laundry. I'm more so looking at the waffles, man. I'm like, that sounds like a good idea right now.
What level of skill would you say you're at on waffles? I mean, are you like an Eggo person, or do you like sit there, go like full Belgian and make them yourself?
No, I like Eggo.
You're an Eggo person?
Oh, I thought you had a waffle maker and you're doing your thing. That's what I do.
I have I use the Kodiak, the power waffles as like a higher protein.
Okay.
They taste so much better. But
Oh, yeah.
I tried the Eggos and they're just disgusting. But the Kodiak are pretty good. So,
Okay.
but yeah,
I've seen those around. I've never tried them.
yeah,
Isn't
those-
Kodiak the one that was on Shark Tank? That was on Shark Tank a while back, right?
I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were. It's a good brand.
Yeah.
Like their pancakes, I mean, they're higher protein, and it's really good stuff. But no, they go in the toaster.
I am now. So big industrial shredders that break up the hard drives. You know, if you have that low level of trust for whoever you're handing it off to, industrial shredders again can go probably somewhere $10,000 to $50,000 for starters. And typically a company would not have these on hand. You would typically have a company come in and shred the drives for you on site. They usually have like a big truck that they'll come in. It has the shredder built in. They would shred it on spot, and then they would give you a receipt for what was done. Other than that, there is, and again, this is specifically to mechanical drives. You have electromagnetic degaussing, which is really powerful magnets, creates a very strong magnetic field, and that basically destroys all data on the hard drive, and so that it is completely unusable. And that also includes the factory pre-recorded tracks on the platter. Like, it even destroys those. So the only way you could utilize something after this would be a low-level formatting. But this would destroy all that data prior to doing that. All right, next. Drill or hammer. This is pretty straightforward. It is what it is. You drill a bunch of holes in the hard drive going down through the platter, punching a bunch of holes in it, and, or take big hammers, to the hard drives. Now, this may seem cathartic, like you would love to do this. This seems like the most fun way you want to get rid of hard drives. I will tell you, if there are 1,000 hard drives that you got to get rid of, this can get really tedious really fast. So for the first 10 or 12 drives, you're like, yeah, this is awesome. I'm getting a workout. I'm getting rid of the drives. This is fun. And then by drive like 150, you're like, oh my gosh, how many do I have left? My shoulders are killing me, and you're ready to be done with it. So if you only have a couple of drives to get rid of, this is generally a viable option. But if you have a large amount to get rid of, industrial shredder, bringing in a company to do degaussing, what have you. All right, incineration. This works for pretty much any type of media: paper, CD, DVD, optical drives, floppies, solid states, what have you. It is just a high heat furnace and basically reduces everything to ash. This does not mean a fire in your backyard, because many cases, if you do something like that, there are elements left behind that can be reconstructed, things like that. So you need to make sure you're actually utilizing a incinerator, something that is meant for this, that will get up to the proper temperature to actually destroy all the data that you need. Questions on those? So we have shredder, degausser, hammer and drill, incineration. Those are our four 4 big ones. Did I miss one? Nope, I didn't.
So I know we're recording right now, but it's not a question really, but I remember when I started working with this system administrator, or I should say director, he used to have a drill in the office with just a drill specifically made for that purpose. Like
Okay.
not made for that purpose, used for that purpose, I should say. So I guess that doesn't qualify because he used to just basically like, okay, we need to destroy this. And he'll just punch 4 holes in it, like just punch 4 holes in the 4 corners, like, not corners, but the 4 sides of
Right around the platter.
disc. Yeah, the platter, there you go.
So here's my problem with the drill.
Mhm.
If you don't destroy the platter, forensically, you can go in and do a bit-to-bit transfer and still recover a large amount of data. That's my problem with drills. So somebody who knows what they're doing can potentially recover. That's why I don't like the drill thing. I prefer hammer because that will actually destroy the platter itself.
Okay, so there will never be a case just in terms of, certification wise, there will never be a case where they present that as one of the options, right? Because of
But drill and hammer, yeah, it is.
Oh, the drill. No, oh, okay. So
I'm saying for me personally, based off what I've read of forensics, even if you drill it, you can still recover a large amount of data.
I apologize. You know what? I was walking around my office. I wasn't looking at the screen. I didn't realize that drill was a part of it. I thought I only saw or heard hammer.
Yeah, no,
Apologize.
drill and hammer. So you can use a
Okay.
drill and you can use a hammer. So yeah, drill and hammer is part of it.
My fault. I didn't realize that was a part of it. Thank you.
No worries. No worries. It's a good review. So final thing is the certificate of destruction. So remember what I was saying, you go and you give the hard drives over to some company, they put them into a big industrial shredder truck, they grinds it all up, and then they give you a receipt. That receipt is very important. It is considered a certificate of destruction. So basically they will be saying we destroyed however many hard drives, and this is basically us stating that this has been done. It is a licensed company and this has been verified, because later audits can come up and it say, hey, we showed you purchased 500 computers, you only have 100 in the office. What happened to the other 400? And oh, by the way, you have government contracts, so it's very important that we know where those computers are. So if you do not have those certificates of destruction, that can be very, very bad for you. So typically you would get these if you're handling very sensitive data. You would make sure you keep these on file for auditing purposes to make sure that if anything comes up later, that your company did everything it was supposed to, for data integrity. So you will get a question on this, just so you know. Certificate of destruction, sensitive data, to verify for auditing purposes that the drives were actually destroyed. Questions? All right. JR, can you read the first scenario for us and let us know what method you think you might use?
I have a question. You
Yes,
were talking about the drill and the hammer. What are they used for?
Well, the drill would drill holes down into the hard drive, going down through the platter to put holes in it so that it can't be used. The hammer would smash it and deform it so that it can't be used.
Okay, just to destroy them, right?
Yeah, physical destruction. Yes.
Okay, yes, I just want to make sure that I got it right. Thanks.
No problem. Yeah.
Scenario 1. Mark is a senior in college and is graduating in June. His new job will be buying him a brand new laptop. He is trying to sell his current laptop to someone at his college to make a little extra cash upon graduation. Which data destruction method should he use? Full formatting? Or formatting?
You mean regular formatting?
Yeah.
So do you think he has a high level of trust with who he's handing that off to?
Let's see. Oh, I guess it's just someone at his college, so probably not.
So what would be the next, what would be another option?
Okay, sanitation.
Yes. Absolutely. All right, can you pick the next person? And one caveat, they cannot have their camera off.
Stephanie.
Stephanie. Let's see here. Scenario 2, Stephanie, are you there? Can you give us another one, JR?
Okay, Stephen.
Stephen.
Yeah, scenario 2, Fortune 500 retailer required certified secure destruction of over 1,000 hard drives and removal and recycling of 350 personal computers. All work had to be certified with complete accountability and auditing trails. Which data destruction method should you use? That's going to be the manufacturer one, which is low formatting, back to the factory, basically setting almost.
Possibly.
Right.
Okay. Anybody else have thoughts on this one?
I would go with
Sorry, I
destruction.
didn't hear. Yeah, I was going to say destruction. But what did you say, Stephen? What would be
It's like
the?
low level formatting.
Oh, it wants a certificate, then it's destruction.
It would say what?
No, I'm saying if they want a certificate of this, they want a certificate of destruction, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so it would be destruction through a company.
I'm looking for a particular word in this
Incineration?
one. Yeah, so the incineration would work, some form of physical destruction of the device, so they can get that
Physical, okay, gotcha.
certificate of destruction for the audit trails. Just doing a low level formatting, typically you're not given a certificate of destruction. So this is an absolute guarantee the data is gone, physical destruction, and you receive that certificate for auditing trails. Good guess though, Stephen. That actually, nice. All right. Was that Miller?
I have a question.
Yes.
Is there non-physical destruction, like not formatting, not any of those, but just actual destruction, but not physical? Does that exist?
Well, I mean, I guess the electromagnetic degaussing, it renders the drive useless. That would be non-physical, I guess. I mean, but the only other method I can think of based off what you're saying would be like sanitation. And that would be like the drive wiping and stuff like that. But again, that, although it is highly, highly, highly unlikely, there still is a potential for data recovery.
Okay. On like the exam, like for the CompTIA exam, like that would still be considered just straight up sanitation. Like sanitation would not be considered physical destruction.
Correct.
Okay.
So, and they're going to be pretty straightforward. Like they'll be like, which below is not a method of physical destruction? They'll say something like that. Or, you want to destroy data utilizing fire, what's the best destruction method for, optical drives? That would typically be like incineration or something like that. So they're usually they are kind of pushing you in the direction of a specific answer when they're giving you the questions usually.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yes, Modena.
Do you get a certificate of destruction for industrial shredding?
Depending on the company, but yeah, that can be a requirement. So you can sit there and say, yes, you know, I need a company that is going to give me a COD once the drives are destroyed. Most do, yes.
Okay.
Because typically that's when you would utilize their services. All right. Jamari, can you do the next one for us, please?
You are giving your computer to your parents. Which data destruction method should you use?
Which method would you use?
Can I call on someone?
Take a guess.
Certificate of destruction.
I wouldn't think you'd need to go that extreme for handing out to your parents. See, yeah, call on somebody.
Melody.
Melody?
I would say like standard formatting.
Standard formatting, why?
Assuming that you like your parents. I don't know, I like mine.
I like the lead in on that. Okay.
I love it.
Yeah,
The
so
standard formatting.
it's like high level of trust. I know my parents aren't going to do anything against me, like with my data.
Yes.
So
Yeah, and even so, a quick format would probably be fine too. Yes, like Oscar's saying. So like a regular or a quick format. So you have a high level of trust. You're not anticipating they're going to try to steal your data or something like that. Excellent. We got here. So when and why would you suggest a client bring in a third-party company to destroy the data? Rather than do it themselves, they bring another company in. So when and why would you do this? Yuki.
When and why? Maybe when there's too much data that you can't do all by yourself.
Possibly.
Or if it's too difficult.
Too difficult. Yeah, that would probably be a good reason. So
Yeah,
those are
that's
fair.
all I can think of right now.
So I can think of right now. Okay, that's fair.
If there's a certificate required.
There, certificate. Danielle.
I don't know, the example keep on playing in my head where you said with the government, like if they need, if you're accounting for a certain data in the computers, and then you need to hire somebody else so they can officially know that the data was wiped out.
Okay. Yeah. So if you have sensitive material and there are regulations in place that require you to have that for auditing purposes. So absolutely. Excellent, Daniel.
The only,
Yes.
sorry.
Wouldn't it
No,
be
no, I was
environmental reasons as well?
Sorry, Greg, then Bernard.
Oh no, I was just going to add something, but it's probably not relevant to this course. There is a script that you can actually push to your users on a network, or those particular, you can subdivide it and you can actually destroy those or have them format themselves. If you're just going to get rid of to Yuki's point, if you just want to, if he says too hard or it's too much, you can actually push that to the machines that you want to format.
Okay.
So
that
that
fair.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't be the reason why you do that, because it was technically not destroyed.
No, that would be a sanitation level. Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
Bernard.
I was just thinking about the destruction of like the hard drives itself, like environmental. You gotta bring in third parties to get rid of all the the cleanup of everything as far as the not just the data, but the plastic and everything that comes with the disk and everything as well when you're destroying it.
We want to be environmentally friendly, recycle the materials. Okay. That's a big thing with computers because there are some nasty chemicals that are used in the production of computers. So electronics recycling is becoming a very big thing. We have a pretty large electronic recycling facility here in Jacksonville. I wasn't even aware of that until one of the people that worked in that was in my cohort actually worked at it. So it was pretty neat. Like they could get, computer equipment for pretty much nothing and practice on it, try to troubleshoot it, see if they can fix it. And then if not, they just take it back.
Don't a company supposed to have like somewhere to be doing those, like a machine that can destroy those data or something?
Well, like the industrial shredders, yeah, it may be attached to a big truck. Like it may look like it's called a straight truck. Like it basically looks almost like a U-Haul. It's not like a big tractor trailer, but it's what's called a straight truck. So you'll have one of those, and they'll have the shredder right inside of it, and then the debris will go inside the truck, like inside a holding area in the truck. But yeah, they would need to have specialized equipment for some of that stuff. But you typically wouldn't take it to them. They may come collect it from you and then provide you with certificates of destruction.
Okay. So does that certificate require, like, do you have to present that certificate in anything, anywhere?
If there's an audit, like we were talking about, like if your company has government contracts and they come to you and basically say, we need an inventory of all your machines. And then you come back and say, okay, I have 100. And they're like, well, our records show you have 400. What happened to the other 300 machines? And you can say, oh yeah, we destroyed those machines. Here's the certification and the company that we use, their license, they destroyed it. It wasn't, my cousin Bill with a sledgehammer. It was an actual reputable company that came in and destroyed the drives.
Okay, I see.
So, all right. So, Kevin, what does a third-party company provide its clients to confirm the data has been disposed of correctly?
Sorry, hold on. I was in the kitchen for a second.
I sensed that I needed to call on you.
Yeah. A third party company?
Yeah. Third party company, meaning not of your organization.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that would
yeah.
be a third party.
What was it? The certificate of
Almost there.
I'm sorry, I might need a little help with this one.
No worries. So what were the methods that we talked about of getting rid of data on drives? So just briefly, what were we doing?
Like the drill and hammer?
Which is what are we doing when we do that?
Oh, so like they would provide like the tools?
No, they wouldn't provide the tools. They're providing you a certificate of what are they doing?
Oh, a certificate of destruction.
There you go.
Okay. All right. So I was right about the certificate. Okay.
Yes, you absolutely were.
Oh, I thought because when I thought that when I said the certificate, you said I thought
I said almost there. You said certificate of, and I was like almost there.
Yeah,
certificate of destruction. One word away.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Certificate of destruction. All right. Next. What does a degausser use to render drive electronics unusable? Kabiru. All right, Tomas.
I think A degausser. I think it would be affecting the disk on it. I think it's.
Well,
I don't think
yes, it absolutely does affect the disk, but what does it use to affect the disk?
Oh, uh, a drill.
Not a drill. Good guess, though. Not a drill. So your Gamal, what does a degausser use to render a drive useless?
Magnetic fields.
One more time.
I said magnetic fields.
You are absolutely correct. Uses very powerful magnets to create a magnetic field that pretty much renders the drive useless. Excellent. All right, quick fire. Stephanie, give me a physical way to destroy data. Just give me one. What was that?
The drill and hammer.
Drill and hammer. There you go. Golly, give me a second physical destruction method.
Incineration.
Incineration. So we have a drill and hammer and incineration. Dean, can you give me another destruction method, please? All right, Emily.
I forgot the third one.
You forget the third one? Well, there's two more, I believe. No worries. Emily, can you give us a physical destruction? We have drill and hammer. We have incineration. We just talked about one on the previous page.
Name a way.
Yeah, a way to physically destroy data. So we've already mentioned incineration and drill and hammer.
Shredding.
Shredding, perfect. All right, we have one left. One left. Rebecca, can you tell us our last method?
I kind of remember you talking to Melody about this though. That's the part that throwing me off a little bit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
In terms of it not being physical per se.
Is that?
It is kind of, because it destroys the tracks and stuff like that. Yes, who is talking? Rebecca?
That was me. Is it the destruction of certification?
Certificate of destruction would be something you would receive, but there's one way left that we can destroy data. So COD would be something you were given after it. All right, Melody and Modonaut, got it. Degaussing, electromagnetic, using the magnets to destroy the data. It's a real funny movie from like the early 2000s where with Jack Black and Mos Def, where in the beginning of the movie, he went through a blockbuster with a magnetic suit on and erased all the movies. And then they started making like these low budget remakes of all the movies to rent out to people.
Oh yeah,
It's called Rerun or something like that. Or Be Kind Rewind. That's what it was.
Be Kind Rewind. Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
Man, we're aging ourselves right now. We're showing you exactly. Is it Mos Def though? Mos Def was in that movie?
Yeah, that was Jack Black and Mos Def.
Oh wow.
All right. Name a reason you would want to wipe a computer clean of data. Mohammed.
For security reasons.
Security reasons? Yep, that would be fair.
Don't want the data to end up in the wrong hands.
There you go. You don't want data to end up in the wrong hands. It's about as succinct as you can get. It's sensitive data. You don't want to get in the wrong people's hands. All right. All right. So there is a program out there that is a full drive erase program removal. What would be a name of the one that they like to mention? So what would be a program that they like to use? Mention it was the red USB stick. There was the, they did have it in a CD form. There we go, we're starting to see it hit. D-ban, absolutely, D-ban. So, nice. We have one more quick quiz. Don't want you guys to feel neglected. You know. Go ahead and stop the recording because it's the last slide.